let's look at some deadline deals that have happened in Dynasty Leagues across the community.
That's right.
Now, if you want your trades to be shown on this weekly show, it's super simple. All you need to do is support us on the Flock Fantasy website by using our promo code LAND. That will get you 30% off your membership. And if you choose the Mother Flocker tier every week, we'll be looking at your trades on this very show. Okay, let's have a look and see what deadline deals went ahead and went through for those people who do have a trade deadline.
Yeah.
7 Goat Rings is the first one today. He says 10 team, full PPR, start 11. It's a tight end premium and 4 IDP. He's sitting in first, 20-4, so he must have a game against the medium with AJ Brown, with getting AJ Brown to the squad for that playoff run. So he adds AJ Brown and a second, sends away JSN and Tank Dell. I love JSN. I definitely want to buy him in Dynasty. I love Tank Dell, but I'm genuinely confused how someone thought that was enough for AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about how valuable the second round is in Dynasty drafts this year. So to me, this is a huge win for Goat Rings here.
Yeah, 100%. Especially you're competing. Not only, do you trade away Tank Dell, who is now injured and out for the season. Obviously, you probably did this trade before that injury. That player is probably frustrated, and it sucks. And unfortunate timing for Tank Dell to get injured for
sure.
for that other team owner. But yeah, AJ Brown, phenomenal value, top 3 wide receiver in Dynasty, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think you and I would agree that. I would have him top 4, but I think you and I would agree even before the Tank Dell injury. We would take the AJ Brown side, no?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely would have taken the AJ Brown side.
Yeah, AJ, I think he's in the top 3 conversation. For me, it would be Chase, Jefferson, CD, and then I probably would have AJ there.
Yeah, I'm happy to put it either way. Yeah, CD's up there. I mean, he has the edge because he is younger. So yeah, it makes sense.
And he's putting up ridiculous numbers. All right, the next trade is from Wid Murder. 12 team, start 10, super flex. He's got a premium for running backs and tight ends. The second was the tax to get the deal done. My quarterbacks. Okay, so let's have a look before. So he gets Watson, Amon-Ra, and Breece Hall. He sends away Kyler Murray, Olave, Ken Walker, and a second. Let's look at the rest of this context. My quarterbacks are now Stroud, AR, Levis, Watson. Running backs are Hall, James Cook, Spears. Wide receivers are Sun God, Garrett Wilson, Jason, Deontay, Godwin, Kincaid, but still have 2 top 4, 24 first, and early 24 second. Curious on y'all's thoughts. I think I can flip Watson next year for something perhaps, but the 1-year punt roster shelf feels really strong for 2024. So the way I'm looking at this trade personally, let's start with what he gets versus what he gives up. You guys know I'm a Kyler Murray guy. Been buying him all offseason. I think he's proven that he will be the starting quarterback for this team moving forward. And it's just my personal opinion. I think Kyler and Deshaun are in 2 different tiers when I'm looking at value at the quarterback position in Dynasty. I'd rather have Kyler by a significant margin. Now, when you look at Amon-Ra and Olave, I think you can probably make the same case, but to a lesser extent. I think most of us would prefer Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I don't think it's to the extent for me between the Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson debate. Then we go to Breece Hall and Ken Walker. I think that's relatively close. I do prefer Breece Hall, of course, especially when Aaron Rodgers is back. I'm curious where that second round pick is because it feels like a heavy tax to pay considering how deep this class is. You and I keep saying how valuable second round picks will be this year. But I'm just not a huge fan of adding Watson. I think even if he plays well, people don't want him on their team. He talked about maybe trading him away and getting value. Everyone who has Deshaun Watson knows this. It's almost impossible to trade the guy away. People just don't want him. They don't want that bad juju on their team. It's a strange situation,
Yeah.
So I don't know where you stand on this, but I think I would have rather just held the side I had personally.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the gap between Amon-Ra and like the wide receiver and the running back position is not big in my rankings. But when it does come down to Watson and Kyler Murray, They're in different tiers, but it's not big. You know, like you have
Okay.
for example, Kyler Murray is hypothetically number 1, and Deshaun Watson is number 6. It's not that big of a significant gap in my eyes, but I
Okay.
understand people don't want the bad juju. People don't love it. It's hard to evaluate Deshaun Watson this past year. When he was on the field, when he was completely healthy, he was good. And there was times where he was really bad. Kenny Pickett bad, right? Like it wasn't good. He didn't get into a rhythm. It was a whole nother year of like, well, we have to wait and see again with Deshaun Watson. The talent's there around him. You know, he has a great offensive line, a great defense that can help him. The weapons are there. I expect him to get some more weapons coming into the 2024 season. Outside of the bad juju, I think Deshaun Watson, genuinely, I think Deshaun Watson can still be the guy that he was before everything happened. It's just hard to evaluate coming into this year. So with what we've seen this year, especially with Kyler Murray coming back, yes, I would want Kyler Murray over Deshaun Watson. And yes, I do have Kyler Murray over Deshaun Watson in my rankings. I just don't think it's that big of a gap in my eyes, but I still don't think that I would have done this trade just to pivot.
Yeah, it feels like that second is, to me, it's a little bit unnecessary considering what, like at each position, you're giving something up and you're getting something in return. The second feels a little excessive. And I wouldn't say that in a normal draft class, but you and I both agree, like this class is stacked. You're going to get first round value in the second round.
Yeah. You are.
Of this class. So just our personal opinion, but it's close. I just feel like we gave up the more valuable side.
Yeah. Agreed.
Space and Field 12 team, Superflex, half PPR, start 10, contending and could use that RB help. I have Connor, Ford, Gibson, Rashawn, and now Moss. The thirds are both late, and the fourth is likely the 401. So he gets Zach Moss in a fourth, sends away Tank in 2/3. So, look, right now, this is all going to depend on how long JT is out.
Yeah.
Because the reason you buy Zach Moss is for the playoff push. Now, JT's not going to play this week, but what if JT comes back week 15 when the playoffs start and you're like, oh, damn it. I don't even know if I can start Zach Moss anymore. It's just it's a temporary Band-Aid and it might not last as long as you want it to. That's what's concerning to me. But I understand the move because some teams, you're just desperate to get a starting running back.
Yeah, what's interesting? His injury has progressed. His injury timeline, has progressed. When he first got injured, 1 to 2 weeks. The next day it was 2 to 4 weeks. Now it's 3 to 5 weeks. When you look up that injury report. So like if he does stay on that path of what the injury report is right now as recording, which is I'm seeing 3 to 5 weeks, then he's not coming back this season, essentially, right? So Zach Moss definitely could be a helpful addition to your team if he does get the opportunities that we all hope and expect.
If you end up winning the championship and Zach Moss starts for you every week of the playoffs, it won't really matter. You won't think about this trade at all.
No.
And no disrespect to Tank Bigsby. Remember those people who said Etienne was going to lose his job? To Tank Bigsby.
Tank
Bigsby lost his job to Dearness Johnson. I'm just not sure there's much coming back from this for him. I could be wrong, though. Yeah. So it's not like you gave up a super valuable asset.
Agreed. Completely agree.
All right, the next trade, I figured we might as well start putting some of our own trades in this show because I think people would like to see that. And I just talked about how, on some contenders, it's hard to get a starting running back. On this contender, this is out of the Alpha League, and I just lost Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not sure exactly when he's back, but the issue is depth was already an issue for that team. I had Tony Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson. Everywhere else, I'm completely stacked. The best wide receiver room you ever see, incredible tight end, good quarterbacks. Running back was just a weak spot for me. So I went ahead and bought Kyren Williams. I sent my 2025 first round pick. I told Shane, who I did this deal with, I don't want to include my 24 pick. I want some, skin in the game for the 2024 draft. So I've added Kyren Williams here. Yes, if Kyren is replaced next year, I'll probably regret this. But at the moment, I think I have a really good chance to actually win the championship. So this is why I went ahead and made this deal and bought Kyren Williams. Broke money don't make none. And I'm not here to be, because I'm currently the number 1 seed. I don't care if I'm the number 1 seed. I care if I win the whole thing,
Right.
So that's why I went ahead and did this trade myself. What are your thoughts on it though?
My thoughts would be, I'm first of all, I'm okay with it. You're a contending team. There is no second thoughts. I think, which we would probably say for everyone, if you don't win the championship, this is going to be a frustrating trade. If you know, if you don't I guess you can finish top 3 because we do have brackets in our follower leagues. So at least
I'll win some money.
You win some money with Kyren Williams, which is not going to be terrible.
Yeah.
So either way, this makes sense as a contending team. And if you are in first or second place, you do this trade, especially the way Kyren has been playing the past couple weeks.
Yeah, and I actually, it's funny because I was on the opposite side of this trade in week 4 in the Kilo League. I sent Kyren away. It was for a 24 first. And the more Kyren plays and the more I learn about the upcoming class, the more I'm sitting here thinking why would he be replaced? Just to play devil's advocate here. Why the Rams who have had limited draft capital, right, through their build, why would they spend draft capital on a running back where they have needs elsewhere? And it's not a deep class, so I don't see some sort of, 3rd round pick or 4th round pick being someone that takes the job away from him. So yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, I'm like, is this like a 1-year rental and I'm screwing myself over? Or is this the beginning of a potential Austin Eckler era? I don't know what the answer is.
Right.
I don't know, because it's very possible he's replaceable. But he's been playing really well. He's been playing out of his mind.
The only downfall to that, in my opinion, I'm not necessarily scared of this running back class. I'm scared of the running back free agency. Josh Jacobs, Saquon, Swift is out there that can come. I don't know, Tony Pollard if he doesn't re-sign.
Yeah.
That's what scares me. Other than
That's
that,
fair.
Other than that, you probably have 2 to 3 running backs in the draft class that can take Kyren's job. But if none of those guys go to a team that a running back is in question, you are buzzing in this scenario. So,
and this could be 100% my bias after buying Kyren Williams, but I think there are other teams that would say running back is a need. I don't know that the Rams would say that's a huge need for us based off Kyren's play.
Yep.
But again, it's probably just my bias. I'm curious what people think. They can let us know in the comments below. But here's another trade from the Kilo League from John Perry. He says, I needed a second quarterback and I'm trying to make the playoffs this year. So he goes ahead and buys Jordan Love and gets a 4th, sends away Rashee Rice and a 2nd. And I really like Rashee Rice, but I would be willing to pay this for Jordan Love. I mean, you and I talked about this last week. You sold Jordan Love. It was my personal opinion. I still feel that way after him dominating Kansas City. But I think they found their guy. I think he is that dude. He wasn't playing well to begin the year, but in the last couple weeks, I genuinely mean this. I'm not sure there's another quarterback playing better than him in the last 2 games, in the last 2 weeks. So I think something might have clicked. They might have actually found their dude in Green Bay and Jordan Love. So I don't mind paying that price based off what we've seen.
Yeah, and does Rice really move the knee? I guess for me, because I'll be honest with you, I'll put my hands up. Maybe I sold Jordan Love too early,
right?
When he was playing bad, right? And now he's popping off. But I don't think Rice moves the needle for me, even if
okay.
When I say move the needle, when you think of what my trade was a early 24 second for Jordan Love, probably wasn't a good trade in hindsight, right? Now you look at this trade in Rice, it's well, I don't think I'm selling Jordan Love for a second and a piece at all anymore. I'm just holding on to wait and see what's going to happen. So the fact that you got Jordan Love in this trade, John, I think it's really good. So
I will say, Rice, he's turning it on. He really is.
He is.
So let's see what that develops into. This will be an interesting trade to look at in a year from now.
Yeah,
sure.
It's going to be interesting because if one of these wide receivers goes to Kansas City, maybe that helps Rice, or maybe that's really going to hinder Rice, and which we've seen and what we've been saying. this class is deep enough that the Kansas City Chiefs could get a good wide receiver.
Totally.
So yeah,
100% agree. All right, I put another one of my trades in here. Y'all saw me buy a running back on a contending team. I figured I'd show you a trade where I sold a running back on a rebuilding team. Sold James Conner, got a 2024 second. You know, we've been talking about how deep the second round is in this year's draft. And James Conner, after that performance right before the deadline, sold him. I don't know that he gets replaced next year. Like, he might be the guy, and I might regret this deal. But I just was nowhere near competing this year. I like the team. I like the foundations. But I don't think I had a chance to compete this year.
Yeah, I mean, I saw James Conner early in the offseason, and I got a second for him. So this is exactly what we wanted. So yeah, I'm okay with James Conner or the second for James Conner.
Yeah. And Hand the Man is the last one today. 12-team Dynasty Superflex, full PPR, start 11. It's a rebuilding team. He gets a second-round pick, sends away Miles Sanders and Sky Moore. I'll be honest, I don't even think I could get a third-round pick for these two guys combined in some leagues.
Yeah, so this is a good trade.
I think you did really, really, really well. I mean, let's hope Miles Sanders turns it around, but it is not looking good for Miles right now. So, yeah, I think you absolutely smashed this deal. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this trade. Get a second. Miles Sanders, who? Sky Moore, who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good one.
It's over for those two guys, I think, unfortunately. But that is it for today, guys. Feel free to DM us if you have any questions about getting your trades on the show. We appreciate y'all. Drop a like, and we'll see you very soon. All love. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, LAND, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy, even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.